Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a Brilliant Businesses podcast. My name is Nick Bryant, and I'm very pleased to be in the offices today of Merranti Accounting. Sorry, I nearly said that wrong.
Yeah.
Jason Fudge, how are you?
Yeah, good. Not bad. Not bad.
Good.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's Thursday to this week, so I'm off for a nice driving day tomorrow, so it's my last day of the week. So
Excellent.
yeah, I'm very relaxed.
Very relaxed. That's good. Perfect for a podcast. So Jason is a director here at Moranti Accounting. This is where I usually talk a little bit about the business, but I'm going to read a review out, which I read on the website this morning, which was friendly, approachable, flexible and jargon-free. I can't recommend Moranti highly enough. These guys are not your usual accountants. And I thought that was good because I've got to know you over the last few weeks, and you're not like a usual accountant.
No, we're not. No, I know we don't want to be.
No, good.
Yeah, we've been going 10 years. This is our 10th year.
Yeah.
As Moranti Accounting, and for exactly what you've just said, we started Moranti Accounting because originally I was me and Steve was directors of a property company.
Right.
Come 2009, 10, obviously the world changed.
Yeah.
But we actually managed to save this property company.
Okay.
And it was, quite a large entity. We were just directors, not shareholders. And so, for example, the company owed one bank 400 million.
Wow.
It was that kind of size.
Right. Okay.
And then we both parted from that. Feeling quite happy with ourselves. Steve went off to stay in property.
So you recovered it, and the bank got paid off. Everything went. Wow.
Yeah, we weren't shareholders. It was a company of 100 people, and we took it down to 7 in one office, and we did some really creative ideas of what to do with the properties and everything else.
Yeah. So they were happy with that.
You'd think.
One of those. Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those. So we then moved on, and I thought I'd have 6 months off.
Yeah.
And then I started getting phone calls from banks and other property companies saying, well, you just sort that. Can you come sort this out for us?
Right, okay.
And so that's what I did for 3 years. I started Merranti for no other reason than just to go and save companies, turn them around, primarily in property.
Right.
One of the biggest issues I had when I was turning the company around was when you're looking at all the figures, the accountants didn't really understand the concepts of the property, and most accountants didn't understand the concept of business, to be honest with you.
All right.
And I was in the accountant solicitor's office probably every other day with what we were doing. And it got to 2013, and me and Steve bump into each other. And I said, the biggest problem I have is I can't find a good accountant who understands what they're doing. So that conversation led to Merranti Accounting starting, merging with consulting.
Right.
And we made it kind of a premise from day one that we aren't going to be that accountant. And when we do get near to being that accountant, I'm going to pull it back.
Yeah, right. Okay.
We need to be a client's accountant. Okay. We need to work for the client, with the client, and think differently. And that's how the business has rolled on.
Okay. And that was started 2014?
Yeah, February 2014. It was started April 2014. So
right. And you've got a few branches now.
Yeah, so we bought, 5 or 6 years ago, we bought a company in Brighton. Yeah. So we've got an office down there. That's still going well.
Okay.
And then 2022, we bought an office in Causden.
Right.
Which came with staff. 6 weeks later, we then picked up another deal, which, much to my business partner's dismay of me walking and going, I've got another one. So we bought another one 6 weeks later. For the last couple of years, we've been amalgamating all those. So now we're down to Caterham, Redhill, East Grinstead and Brighton.
Fantastic.
We've probably got 20 people in total, which is, as the business has grown, the people haven't because of all the systems that are in place.
Yeah.
But I suppose why are we different? We sit down, talk to our clients, and it's an individual bespoke conversation.
Yeah. And it has to be, though, doesn't it? Because every business is different.
Oh, I don't know.
But some accountants don't look at it that way. They, this is the way you do things.
But accountants run their business for themselves.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you? If you're a landscaper, you're going to run the business based on what is it and how you want to do it. I've always taken the client's position. And even when we have meetings, I literally will talk to all the accountants, bookkeepers for and on behalf of the client and translate for the client.
Right.
I sit there and think, what do I want from my accountant as the client?
If this was your business.
That's our job.
Yeah. Okay.
Not sit there and create a process where we can automate everything, make everything impersonal, and send you your accounts out and say, there you go.
Yeah.
Every time we have a conversation with a client, we can save them tax.
Yeah.
So we now have pre-meetings with all clients before we start their accounts.
Right.
We then have a meeting after, and I guarantee you will, for that pre-meeting, that's where we will save them tax.
Okay.
We now have introduced 6 monthly meeting.
Right. Okay.
So our clients have got to meet us in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
There's no point talking about last year, it's gone.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about this year in the middle?
Yeah.
Or even towards the 9-month mark. And that way, if you've had a good year, we can see the figures and we can say, well, why not do this?
Yeah.
We can save some tax, or why not save some money on some costs there? We can make a difference to that business in that day.
Yeah.
If there's no point having the meeting a month after the end of the year and saying, well, why did you do that? And the client's sitting there thinking, but you're my accountant. Why didn't you tell me to do
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
So the whole thing is communication.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that you quite often you're the guy that goes in there and holds them accountable for doing or not doing something.
Yeah, so I have a lot of monthly meetings with clients, sit on a few boards, and I meet quarterlies. And there's definitely a format we use. We're not there to keep you as a client and tell you what you want to hear. We're there to, bully is probably a strong word, but we're there to help you set targets and budgets and then help you maintain those.
Yeah.
And then every month, the idea is to set some targets of how we're going to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to grow a business.
No, okay.
They just want to create a profitable business, have an easy life. Some people want to take over the world. It's important to find out what the objective of the client is.
Yeah.
And put the plan in place for that objective.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Not to do what the accountant thinks you should do.
Yeah, I guess that a lot of people fall into that trap because there's no communication.
No.
The accountant just thinks this is a business and it's probably want to grow, but some businesses don't want to grow. They just want to be happy where they are. That's a really, really interesting point. So when someone comes to you and says, look, I've got this business, you're going to sit them down and just get absolutely everything out of them about what they want to achieve within it before you move forward.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, all data is electronic now.
Yeah.
And if it isn't, we'll make it electronic. We are a completely cloud-based company.
Yeah.
We can help our clients become cloud-based if that's where they want to go. But we will analyze their data when they first come. Invariably, mostly, it's not in a place where you can get stats and figures out of it.
Yeah.
And so we work with them in the first few months and maybe the first year in how they're entering their financial data.
Yeah.
So that we can get information out the back end that will give them the answers to what they want to know. So they may, for example, have 5 branches. Okay, well, let's break those branches down and see if we can attribute cost to each one. And so we can now see which branch is making you money, which isn't.
Yeah.
Products. Let's break down to products and let's find out which products are making you money.
Yeah.
We can sit down and do a simple 12-month budget with you. And once upon a time, that was loads of money, lots of time.
Yeah.
Not anymore. We've got an AI system.
Yeah.
Go in and grab your data, reproduce it for next year, and in 1 hour we can sit there and put some figures in. And every month we can say, right, there's your figures for this month.
Yeah.
There's your budget.
Yeah.
That's where you're at. We need to work on this.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And again, that was
Brilliant.
Once upon a time, you'd have to be turning over millions of money to get this kind of service. We have clients turning over £100,000 and they get a monthly report to say where they're at and what they're doing.
Yeah. Right.
It's not for big business anymore. If someone's we've got plenty of clients, £100,000-200,000 turnover, who want to be 500.
Yeah.
And it's to go from 1 million to 2 million is probably easier than it is to go from 200 to 400.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, why is that? Is that because of staff? Is that because why is that?
A lot of people will start a business because they can do what they do. So in other words, I'm a groundwork business.
Yeah.
I can dig it. I can use a digger.
Yeah.
And so I then get some contracts and I get bigger. And now suddenly it needs a skill set other than driving that digger.
Yeah.
That's not something they've got on board. Second thing is you need to take a step back sometimes to go forward.
Yeah.
So if you've got a business and you're turning over £100,000, but £60,000 of that is your salary as such, you need to take someone on.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, but then the only way you're going to really do that, because you're never going to get that money on day one, you've got to go back to 40 for a couple of months to be able to afford the 20, to be able to then move forward. People find it difficult in a financial situation to do that. When you get your first employee, the biggest problem you have is they're 100%.
Yeah.
Okay? It's the biggest jump you can ever make.
Yeah.
You've increased your staff by 100%.
Yeah.
And so when they're not in, 100% your staff is off. When they're sick, 100% your staff is sick.
Yes.
If they're not in a good mood, 100% of your staff is not operating properly.
Yeah.
Every step from then on is easier. Because you're 100, 50, 33, 25. And it's that big stage that people need to go from running their job to running their business.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the biggest things we help people with.
Yeah.
But then you go right up to, you know, a £5 million company, and they can't move on because they don't have control of their money. They don't have control of their data
numbers.
and their numbers.
Right.
You know, to see where it is they need to expand, when they need to expand, what their seasons are, how they can compare it. The more numbers you have, the more you see the patterns.
Yeah.
And if you see the patterns, then you can then develop the business.
So all this data is crucial, isn't it? That you can see that, so you can plan.
But it's how the data's entered.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, if you put one line in of what you sold and one line in of what it costs,
Yeah.
I can tell you 2 figures at the end.
Yeah.
And so we need to work with the client through the onboarding process to work out, well, let's get the information entered there. It's no more work, but what it gives you is massive numbers out the back there. I'm saying, well, you don't want to do that. You want to do it like this.
Yeah. You mentioned AI there, and it sounds like that's becoming very, very a large thing that's used in accounting.
Yeah, I mean, AI is the biggest buzzword.
Yeah.
The main principle of AI actually is conversation. That's where it is at this moment in time. All the models out there at the moment are dealing with conversation, and that's where they're trying to build it. AI in accounting is probably, it's been around longer than you think, because AI doesn't have to exist in accounting. Accounting is just an algorithm.
Yeah.
You know, if it's this, then go there and put this in. Well, that's always been in Excel anyway.
Yeah.
Now AI is coming more and more. So in our management accounts, an AI system, if I tell it to work out this compared to this, it will give me the narrative. It won't then tell me how to apply it. No. But it will give me the narrative.
Yeah.
HMRC is scared of AI.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean, they're making some changes at the moment where to start up an accountancy business, you don't need to be qualified.
Wow. Right.
Yeah, accountant is not a protected term.
So you don't have to be chartered or anything like that. That's what they're saying.
No, I mean, not saying it doesn't make your life difficult to get insurance, but no, in theory, you know, whether you're a start-off bookkeeper or qualified by experience, you can use that word.
Okay.
HMRC are intimating now that actually that in the future is probably going to stop.
Okay.
And they're going to put things in place that will filter down so that you have to be a tax agent to be able to submit accounts.
All right.
My thought on that is one of the reasons is because you imagine if AI systems started submitting tax returns. And you could put that to an aggressive status and it claims for everything you don't want.
Yeah.
HMRC couldn't handle that amount of inquiries. Everyone would get pushed back because HMRC's AI system would push you back.
Yeah.
So,
it wouldn't work, would it? It wouldn't work.
Yeah, and there's a certain bank account out at the moment that says it can do corporate accounts, and I've looked at it, and the person's going to end up with a massive liability because it's just not right.
Yeah, so AI in a lot of industries and things, it's there as something, but it's not completely there. It's there to support in what you do rather than take over what you do.
It definitely, we use it internally as much as we can,
as
much as we do.
Yeah.
But what it does, it gives us the benefit of reducing our costs and reducing our fees to the client.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how we see it.
Yeah.
Rather than increase our profit, we reduce the fees to the client because we then pick up more clients.
Yeah.
However, what it does do is it gives us more time to communicate and talk to the client and translate it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Moving on to another topic, which is businesses that are struggling out there at the moment, which is pretty much hospitality, which is really struggling. What are the ones that are doing well and what are the ones that aren't doing well? And why is that?
We've got well over 1,000 clients, so you kind of feel the ebbs and flows of it. And there's been this kind of pattern since COVID. So, anyone who, these are general average rules, but especially in hospitality. So 2021 obviously killed the hospitality.
Yeah.
They came out the other end, and then they've had 21, 22, possibly 23 have been good years because everyone's just burst back out on the scene.
Yeah.
In the last...
It's beginning to change.
Last 18 months, everything's crashed. So not only have you now got to deal with the tax payments from when it was good, in a year that, no one saves their tax money. It's always spent out the previous next year.
That's good to hear.
No, but HMRC have this idea that it is, but unfortunately it is always out the next year.
Yeah.
And so, we all know restaurants in the last 18 months have absolutely crashed their costs, the utilities.
Energy, yeah.
We see some clients' utilities, £10,000 a month.
Jesus crikey, yeah.
They just can't survive. And that means they put the costs up. We've seen a lot of clients in the restaurant business come out of it, close.
Yeah.
And what they've done is they've moved into either a takeaway or they've moved into a morning cafe.
Right. Or just got rid of their premises and maybe just did deliveries or something like that, just to get rid of those overheads.
That's a short-term stop. That never works.
Okay.
And, that's just a stepping stone to them closing.
Going down, yeah.
But and how they're going to recover it, it's almost like it's not been acknowledged by the government that hospitality are struggling with this.
And of course, they've all got to pay back their bounce back loans as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's not as hard. One thing that most people don't know on bounce back loan is you have options to reduce it.
Yeah, okay.
So it's 6 years at 2.5%. Okay, you can extend it to 10, and that reduces your monthly.
Yeah.
You can take the interest-free option, so you only pay the interest option. I think it's for maybe 2, maybe 3 years.
Is it? Okay.
6 months? Sorry,
right.
18 months. You can have 6 months off.
Okay.
So
There's
are options
there.
on that.
Yeah. So that's not the killer.
No, the killer is the increase in utilities.
Yeah.
There was the rates on properties were secretly increased last April.
Yeah.
Because they said, we're not increasing the rates, but we re-rated every property. And so what happened is everyone got pushed into the next bracket. And so people that were paying 0 are now paying $5,000, and people with $5,000 are paying 10. So it's just a secret hike.
Yeah. And it's going to get worse as well, because obviously corporation tax has gone up, hasn't it?
Yeah, so you're paying more tax now than at any time since the World War II. And it's we've had a recent change of government. It's not to pay for their plans. They're going to have to get some tax from somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll get it from what we call daily tax. So they're not going to get it from people's salaries or corporation tax. They'll get it from one-off events.
Right. Okay.
Whether they're going to raid on pensions or whether they're going to raid on inheritance tax or I don't know.
Yeah.
But I doubt it's going to be on a daily.
Okay.
And
the businesses that are thriving, who are they? What do they do? I guess they're just bigger businesses with more sort of cash that have supported them.
Yeah, I mean, thriving is probably a very thin term in this market.
Yeah, okay.
I have to say.
Yeah.
There is not many.
Well, the businesses that are doing okay.
Yeah, there are, as I say, we're experiencing more companies drop down that ladder into, issues, surviving, standing still, and moving forward. Everyone has dropped all the way through that chain.
Yeah.
Moving forward now, you really got to get past that. If you're at 1 million to get to the 1.5, you'll make that's slightly easier for you. From an industry point of view, people we see are growing. It's hospitality struggling. Second-hand car sales.
Okay, that's struggling.
The new car sales are absolutely tanked. The manufacturers are having an absolute nightmare. Some are even pulling out.
Yeah, right.
But the second-hand market is going absolutely crazy. People spending, the beauty industry is going crazy.
Yeah, right.
Once upon a time, so we've got quite a few influencers on the books. That was going really, really well. But I think what hides is the fact that there are, for every one that does well, there are 10,000 that don't. And there's one of my bugbears in business. People focus on the one that's doing well.
Yeah. That's not fair, is it?
And you get a lot of people on the Instagram model that, follow me and I'll show you how to do this, and Grant will sell you a great big course in how to do this. But in effect, if you ever need to buy a business course, then really what they're teaching you is you should set up a business course and sell business courses, because taking that and putting it to reality is rare. Everyone that succeeds and a million don't.
Yeah.
Back to industry, it's there's just not that many. Most people are surviving.
It's tough out there, isn't it? It is tough. And if people are struggling, please don't worry, because it is the same for everyone, I think, as well. That can be quite comforting sometimes. Some business think, God, is it me? Is it me? Am I just not doing things right? But it's tough for everyone out there. And
it is.
They need to remember that.
Listen, talk to your accountant.
Yes, of course, yeah.
That's really what you need to do.
Plan. Look at these figures, look at the data.
Don't just pan them out the money and then come back out and feel worse. You need to go and talk to someone.
Yeah.
One of the things we've done over the last 10 years, during COVID, we just emailed everyone and said, right, this year's free.
Right, okay.
Free
Did
advice.
you? Nice.
Free meetings, whatever you want, video, phone calls.
Let's get through this together.
Yeah, I've sat in front of a lot of business owners who I can visibly see that they are in a very dark place.
Yeah, yeah.
Business does that to you. You're taking on more stress than you can ever imagine, more than most people can understand. And when things aren't going right, and that's 99% of the time.
Yeah.
You don't share it.
No, you put your bury your head in the sand, I think they call it sometimes.
Yeah. And I've lost count of how many people I've sat across and found a plan for them.
Oh, good.
Found a solution.
Yeah. Okay.
Taken them out of that darkness and said, right, okay, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. Let's get on with it. And it's not that they're not capable of doing it themselves, but sometimes when you're in that woods and it's too dark, you can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas if you come to someone else and they go, look, this is fine. We just do this. We do that. We can write to them, get that sorted.
Yeah. That's comforting. That's what you need. Yeah.
But you really don't keep it on your shoulders. Go talk to someone.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I wanted to speak to you about was with staff. We spoke about earlier about how you find staff, because if you've got a unique way of doing it.
Do you know what? It's in our industry. Everyone says it's really hard to find staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not.
It's not. It's when you take on a staff member. If I want a new client, I'm going to do a great big advert. I'm going to do a really nice pitch. I'm going to tell you everything you want to know about us. And then when you turn up, I'm going to give you everything you need. Great. When it's staff, companies seem to have this idea that you come work for me and I'm doing you a favour.
Yeah.
And, that's not how it works. So me and my business partner, we work for a guy, and we literally have a rule: is what he did, we don't do.
Yeah.
We've experienced what it's like to work for someone who has this unique concept of staff. So let's say examples. Our main rule: you have to leave on time.
Okay.
No, you really have to leave on time. That's it. All the alarm systems, all the offices have a ring alarm system. And it goes to my phone, and I know when everyone leaves an office. And if they're there after time, why? What is it we're not doing to help you finish on time? We have a lot of parents that work for us. To be able to give them a point where we can say, no, you finish at 4:30, go home. Yeah, well, I want to just, that's fine, I get that, no problem. But tomorrow, kind of do that at 4:15.
Yeah.
And 90% of our staff are home if they leave at 4:30 by 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they can guarantee to do the same with the kids, guarantee they're going to do something in that evening.
Yeah.
Be at home with that glass of wine. And, when most people are leaving work, they're home already.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Having that guarantee and you're trying to employ a parent is a massive tip box. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't offer or give overtime if they want it, but invariably people want time these days.
Yeah, that's a good point. And also, if they're working overtime as well, then maybe they're not being as productive as they should be in the day as well. Perhaps
No, I don't know. I mean, in the accounting industry, you'll always see accountants working late in January and December, and And it's because what they're doing is they're running one staff less than what they really need.
Yeah.
Because maybe in February or March when they're not busy, they're full capacity. We do the opposite.
Okay.
In February and March, we aren't busy.
Yeah.
And some staff saying, "Oh, I've got nothing to do."
Yeah.
Okay, great. We've got a solution for that. We do training, we do business reviews, get the clients in, let's go for all the records. Let's have a great big tidy up of the business. But when we are busy between October and January, we're standard. Where everyone else is rushing, we're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We were finished in mid-January this year for all, the 1,000 self-assessments we do.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
The benefit of that is for 10 years, we've always said, if you're all up to date by Christmas, we'll close.
Okay. Nice.
The rule is everyone has to be up to date.
Yeah.
And what we do is we create a situation, and we plan for this from June. When we get to the beginning of December and someone maybe's run out of work or they finished what they're doing, because they know that everybody needs to be up to date, they'll get onto our internal chat system and they'll start saying, "Does anyone need any help?" I love watching that. I love seeing it when another member of staff offers to help others. And they start helping each other on all their work. And it creates that teamwork. It creates everyone trying to help. And then we get to Christmas. Yeah, we might finish on the 23rd. Mostly we take the 22nd off because we are that up to date.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because everyone's looking out for each other. It's quite military, actually, isn't it? It's like being the Marines.
We don't. We have no communication in the evenings. We don't have any emails sent in the evenings. If me and Steve decide that we want to work weekends and evenings, we schedule the email for the following day so they get it during the day.
Yeah. Okay.
People want time.
It's the most important thing, isn't it?
So when you do all that, in February we gave everybody a day off for mental health.
Yeah.
There's 2 rules. You have to tell us what it is. We'll give you £50 towards it, and we want a picture.
Yeah.
So that we can all put them on there and see what everyone did.
Nice. Yeah, that's really good. Well, no wonder you don't struggle finding staff. It's easy to find staff if you treat them well and you do, you have good systems in place by the sounds of things. Yeah. So that's really cool. Thanks, Jason. It's been great talking to you. I feel when I'm around you, I feel like I'm being looked after. I do. You've got that sort of fatherly sort of, which is good for businesses because they need to feel like they're being looked after and that you've got their back. And that's how I feel when I'm around you. And I think that's really important. Something we should get across.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So just quickly, moving forward, what does the future hold for your business and how you're going to move forward? Are you going to get more branches or?
Yes, I'm one of these, I have my own issues in business and that is nothing's ever enough.
Yes.
I'm constantly driving the business. My main job is driving numbers.
Right. Okay.
It is driving new business and driving revenue and driving costs down and, where we've probably increased 300% in the last 3 years.
Is it? That's a big number.
This year we should only grow around 28%.
Right.
I get disappointed at 28%.
Yes, I reckon you do as well, yeah.
I really do. I just feel like, no, how am I going to develop this business to be more and more and more? So the answer is yes.
Yes, growth.
I want to buy more businesses. Yes, I want to, we're looking to open a St Albans branch in a couple of months.
Okay.
One thing we won't be looking at is franchises.
Okay.
Being a control freak and want to drive the business, it's not where I want to go.
Yeah, keep it all under your wing.
It's
exciting.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's never a boring day here.
Excellent. So if anyone out there needs an accountant, then please get in touch with Jason, Moranti Accounting. Website, morantiaccounting.co.uk.
Merrantiaccounting.com.
Yeah, okay. They can get in touch via that. All the details will be underneath this podcast. And please just give Jason a ring. I'm sure he'll be glad to talk to you.
Nick, thanks. I really appreciate it.
No, it's a pleasure. Thanks again. And we'll see you all for another podcast soon. Thank you.